Minister Richardson, recently you had ads out about fraud. If you're a victim of fraud, file a complaint with the police. People that invested in carbon, there's tens of them that have filed police complaints about fraud, and up till now there is no decision made in a criminal investigation. So how does that jive?
Yes, so first off, I'm aware that there are a number of persons within our community who are experiencing a tough time with the circumstance of their situation. I did have a conversation with the chief prosecutor on the matter. I was made to understand that first and foremost, this is a civil case. But of course, a judgment was passed, and the judgment has, to my understanding, has not been honored or adhered to. So there is a discovery being done by the prosecution services as to how the matter can be handled. So I will say that the prosecution service is looking into the matter because it is not immediately a criminal case. It's a civil case, and but it does have the attention of the prosecution service.
If someone sells units to different parties up to 3-4 times and has different prices on it, different mortgages, has it mortgaged off, doesn't deliver on what is paid for, how is that not a criminal case?
So that was handled in a civil suit, Ms. Hoffman. So at the end of the day, the matter was taken to court. And it was taken to court as a civil suit. I believe if the persons feel like as though it is a criminal matter, then a new case would have to be brought before the judge, or in this case, via the prosecution service.
Sorry, there were tens of civil suits, and the civil judge said this is a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is fraud. That would be criminal.
Okay. So then the proper criminal proceedings would have to take place. And that is something that has to be prosecuted or pursued by the prosecution service. So as I indicated in my earlier statements, it does have the attention of the prosecution service. That's all I have for now. Thanks.
Let's not forget the jollification season, as I mentioned. So as we prepare for St. Martin Day to be celebrated, together with our French counterparts, the festivities have already been made public. So I encourage all to look into the schedule to see how you can participate to make it a meaningful one for you and your family. Don't miss out on these special events. It promised to be a one of reverence for us to remember, for us to come together, but also to cherish and celebrate the essence of who we are as a St. Martin people.
Prime Minister, since the World Bank set up office in St. Martin, how has this influenced the working relationship? Has it intensified? Are there new upcoming projects? Can you elaborate on that?
Thank you for that question. I neglected to mention that there will be steering committee meetings here in St. Martin next week from Monday, so the entire week, whereby representatives from the bank, besides the regular ones that are here, missions are ongoing. In fact, there were missions in September and October as well that also bore good fruit. So they come, they have assessments, they look at progress, they look at ways to improve the progress, and that is the main goal moving in now. So all of the projects have been committed to ensure that they can be executed within the project time when it closes in 2028, is to stay on track. So it's a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month activities that need to take place. And we are noticing that we need to accelerate in some areas to not lose out on those projects. So next week's steering committee meetings will bring to the fore exactly what needs to be done to ensure that all of the projects can be executed. Most of the projects are in various states of either preparation or execution. And so I would have to have an overview to be able to send that, and NRPB updates on their website on a regular basis. So I can ask you and the general public to look on that site to see which projects are ongoing. They put out tenders all the time, and they support government in ways in terms of with tendering as well and procurement for our projects. With the bank being on the island, with the opening of their offices at the central bank's offices, there's better opportunity for collaboration and to ensure understanding of each other's roles to accelerate the project. So the bank is willing to do the work. Our execution agency, the NRPB, is doing the work. And of course, government is required to do their part in all aspects, remembering that these are our projects that are being executed. The continued interest, of course, nobody's more disappointed when we came in. Everybody was, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? And Minister mentioned about schools as well. Several schools, 27 schools were on the list to be fixed, and some have been fixed and the others are rolling out now. So those projects are rolling out, school repairs and preparations for mental health project, wastewater, EDMP, the debris management, all of those are in critical stages of actions that we can progress to be able to get them finalized in the time span of the project. So check the site and you can await the updates after the steering committee meetings next week. Rolika, with your permission, I'd like to touch on another question that was asked. The Minister of Finance, I think, addressed it. However, structural changes, long-term structural changes like infrastructure cannot be done just because a hole opened in the road today. That would be ad hoc fixes that you do have a small operational budget for. But reality is that we did not, for several years, have a capital loan for these type of longer-term planning that would include drainage and the like. So these are problems that have existed for many, many years. We also have investments needed for the pumps, etc. I saw some social media videos, etc. And that's why, we have to be quick in our information to the public. Even though at 2 a.m. that road was flooded, when I passed at 7, it was completely clear. So once the pumps get moving, once the changes, the ponds are drained to a certain level when we anticipate rain, however, at the end of the day, it will fill up because of the amount of rain that falls in a short time. And if we can recall, when we've had these type of flash flood warnings and advisories in the past, it has led to death based on how quickly the cul-de-sac area around the pond can flood. And that's why we constantly warn, even if it's just an advisory, to be careful on the roads. And yes, we can share videos quickly, but then also share the video when the road is clear, because persons would have thought that that road remained flooded. What was explained to me from the VROMI department that deals with this is that it's built to drain at a certain rate currently. So of course, if rains fall for a longer time, it will take longer to drain. So what would be a flooded area right now within 20 to 30 minutes will not be the same, even with the regular drainage. So I'm asking for understanding that we did not have capital expenditures for these type of investments for a very long time. And this year, 2023, we're finally able to do so after, is it 9 years, Minister? Almost 10 years. So of course, we are backwards in our investments. But luckily, we did have some investments taking place on St. Martin via the trust fund and private investments from insurances. So with that, I hope to clarify certain matters and that we also give and look out for the updates when we do have flooding in particular areas. So bear with us as we structurally address these matters. So the plan is in place now. Hopefully it will be approved soon. Capital investments are there so the execution can take place.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances. St. Martin, the Department of Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs proudly presents its second Things I Wish My Father Taught Me, a series of meaningful conversations in commemoration of International Men's Day on November 19th. The weekly podcast features several inspirational figures and moderated by Mr. Richinal Arundel. The topics and guest speakers include mental health featuring Mr. Sherensly Valise and Mr. Star Peterson, lifelong learning with Mr. Jamal Newton and Mr. Marvio Cooks, Gilders and Sense with Mr. Jude Houston and Mr. Edsel Gums, and relationships featuring Mr. Alston Lawrence. Things I Wish My Father Taught Me offers a mix of critical reflections and entertainment. Join us every Sunday in November at 8 p.m. via the Facebook pages of the Government of St. Martin and Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs, Tel TV 15, SXM TV Broadcast, TV Carib, and St. Martin Gov Radio 1079. During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emil Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welchelaken Road K Hill from Welchelaken Road Roundabout until the One Tete Loke Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Cooper Coy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingov.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Government of St. Martin.
Have their passengers queued on the whole stairs, and it was not a very comfortable situation for the passengers, as well as it was not a good sight for us. It wasn't a good image for the airport. So now we've created a lounge area downstairs so they can send their passengers down, and they have seating, fids, a vending machine, everything downstairs for them to be able to sit back and relax and wait until their flight is ready for them to be able to board.
Good with a vending machine, very good. When I had to go to Stacia in July for a funeral, 7 o'clock was the first flight. There's only 2 flights, huh? Came in looking for something to eat, nothing to eat. I said, well, you got a first flight. Why aren't the vendors open? No, they're not going to, so it's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Irma,
it has taken us a while to solve the issues. I'll give you a small issue here as well. Those lights, they're over a staircase or all the way down. There's no way for us to get to them.
right.
So if anything blew, it would take us almost a year before we go build scaffolding and all that stuff just to go change one light. We have now created that those lights can now come all the way down for us to be able to change the bulbs, do any maintenance, and send them back up.
So how are you going to put them down though?
There's a remote that allows us to bring it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's remote, okay.
So there's a lot of upgrades on some of the functionality that we did not have. We have an opening that you can see over here. It will give us the opportunity to clean that duct.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
And that's the exhaust duct now that all of the fresh air, that is the return air from the air conditioner here goes through the system. It used to get clogged because there was no way for us to get to it. So then this area was suffer because now it was getting stifled. We're not giving any air through the machines. All of those things we were able to address in this reconstruction.
Who found the little, how would I say, the little faults, the little mistakes that corrected?
When we had the opportunity to do the redesign, we formed a team where we interviewed all of the stakeholders.
And then they told you what the issues
They
were.
explained
Okay.
this problem, this problem, this problem. And like I said, I think about 92% of them were able to implement. So we spoke with all of the maintenance teams.
Right.
All
Especially
of
them.
correct. We also went over to the airlines, went over to the concessionaires, even the car rentals, immigration. All of those had their input on what they would want changed, and it was something that was possible. We did it.
Do you think, eventually you will, but do you think there will ever come a time when you say the building is completely?
I think it's going to be
Completely
to the
finished?
point where you want to be doing maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. With technology, you never know. Because there's always something, can we do this? Can we change this? For example, the IT itself is going to be a whole phase that we're going to go through after we're installed. By water systems, we have something called a pre-action. So if there's a fault where we think there's going to be a fire in here, it charged the system, but it didn't spring. But if it did ever spring,
Just
it
in
was going to be
case.
spraying with water. We now have gas in all the IT rooms, so it doesn't kill our equipment. It's supposed to just be able to take away the oxygen in here and make it safe.
It seems to still be here when it happens. So we ring a day, but
You know, for a fire, you need like 3 sources, they say. Oxygen, heat, and a spark.
yeah.
And this here takes away the oxygen. This is the air conditioning room. They call them the utility room.
Oh, okay.
We have in here stuff like air handling. This is the air conditions.
Yeah, okay.
We got 2 of them in here.
Without generators.
Generators are on the air side. We have 2 of them in here, 15 of these up here, and these are the small ones. Okay? We got 15 of them up here. We also have smoke exhaust, so if there's a fire in here, the BMS shuts down the air conditioning system, turns on those fans, and then we vent the building. If we got 2 on this side, we got 2 on the other side. So we just suck everything out of the building to through the smoke out. So this is going to be interconnected to all of the air handling units, all the lights, the fire alarm system, the access control system, because during an emergency, you want certain doors to open, certain doors to stay closed. Okay? Lights, elevators, escalators,
So the technician will have to come in and decide which is going
they
to.
don't, everything's automated.
Through what? Through computer?
Everything is automated through computers. So these are the brains that's connected to the systems. And from the computer, now you can program what happens when certain things, emergencies are in progress. This is the airport section. Again, upgraded restrooms, same thing, similar to downstairs.
This is for the staff.
Yes.
Airline.
Staff, airport staff.
This is airport.
This is the airport.
This is not airline. Okay, airport. Okay. So, the canteen. Okay, here you all come to eat.
We had a canteen, we had the sink, we had counter and everything. But every time we had an event, we realized the canteen was too small for the whole event in there.
Of course, employees, yeah.
So now we coupled it to the training room.
Oh.
With a-
Oh.
So we can have training in here,
Yeah.
and when we don't, if we need a larger training, we can actually open up so you have more persons in
Yeah,
training.
this comes in. Okay.
But you can also segregate it from the canteen. And while we were doing that, we realized there was a lot of space up here. A space that we never got to.
Conference room.
This is a conference room. So when they have meetings or whatever,
Smaller.
small for that conference room for them. When
Oh,
some
okay,
persons come in there that they don't have space within the office to have that meeting, they can have
Okay.
their own dedicated conference room. Small storage and probably coffee room. And then there's also another storage. This can also be used for a small conference as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Meeting room. This was a tour of the airport just to let you know that we are moving strides. There are going to be some tweaks and changes and corrections that need to be done along the way, but the airport will be operational on the 15th for our first flight.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
St. Martin is my home, and I do but anything to make it known. Think of it.
A key part of the Barbados Youth Advanced Course 2-year training program is the employability phase, which gives participants a chance to get hands-on experience in the world of work. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, Charlie Brown, says for this to be possible, more entities must come on board.
This is facilitated through partnerships with entities across the private, public, and third sectors, providing 10 to 14-week job attachments. While the program has seen the placement of several of this evening's graduates, there still is a need for further engagement and support of the program by other agencies in the various sectors to provide professional development needed for the young people enrolled in the program. It is against this backdrop that we make an urgent request for more agencies to take on board the BYAC trainees.
This call was echoed by Director of the Barbados Youth Advanced Corps, Hallie Haynes, during a graduation ceremony for cohorts 3 and 4, whose intake took place during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Haynes highlighted some of their academic achievements in the Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate, or CSEC.
There were 81 subject entries from cohort 3 and 4, 37 males, 44 females. For the 2023 June-July Caribbean Examinations Council sitting, I am pleased to report that there were 48 passes, 32 males and 16 females in the undermentioned disciplines: English language, information technology, office administration, principle of business, social studies, electronic document preparation and management, physical education and sports, human and social biology, and theater arts. Ladies and gentlemen, some of these young persons got 3 in one sitting.
There were also triumphs in the areas of technical and vocational education, which included subjects such as animation, carpentry, and photovoltaic installation.
Trainees participated in the All Greens, Green Spaces program, and they received bonus by receiving instant kitchen gardens fully equipped with ceilings as an investment in their entrepreneurial startups. Ladies and gentlemen, one of these evening's graduates took full advantage of this investment and commenced her own business venture. Let us congratulate graduate Tanisha Daniel and offer her the necessary support.
Through a partnership with the Barbados Defence Force, 6 trainees have successfully joined the ranks of the BDF. 61 graduates have also applied for a Prince's Trust UK Qualification Award, which can be used on their resumes when seeking employment. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
An incident last year at Oberlin High in St. Andrew, where several students collapsed during a devotional exercise, prompted the Education Minister to issue draft guidelines to public schools for how devotions are to be conducted. But Chairman of the Jamaica Umbrella Groups of Churches, Dr. Elaine McCarthy, says the guidelines should not diminish the role of devotions in schools. She says the ministry should focus on the benefits of devotions in promoting discipline and other valuable social behaviors.
So instead of being so unkind to each other, they would maybe remember a verse or so that was shared with them at devotion, which would help to guide them in terms of how they would react to others around them. So the whole absence of this kind of spiritual environment, I think, has contributed significantly to the lawlessness in the schools. I really think so.
Meanwhile, Dr. McCarthy says there are children who only learn about religion from schools.
For some of them, they are not exposed to going to church like either Saturday or Sunday. So when they come to school, then they would kind of get that exposure. Now, when you kind of take that away, either you reduce the time period, or instead of having it maybe on a daily basis, it might be once per week. So the whole effect of it becomes a little less than it was before.
And the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches says it is in support of a recommendation for simultaneous devotions in schools to accommodate all students belonging to various religious groups. At present, mostly Christian devotions are held at schools.